I'm a human trafficking survivor. My introduction to human trafficking started when I was about 14 or 15 years old. I didn't know what it was, but I had a friend convince me to go out with her and one of her male friends. He was actually a trafficker. I was specifically involved in sex trafficking.
Human trafficking is when an individual is forced or manipulated or coerced into providing labor or services. A lot of times human trafficking is through the boyfriend pimp. I was trafficked when my boyfriend was injured and I was taking care of him. I ended up losing my job. He said, well, there's something you can do that will make a lot of money so we can get back on our feet. So he introduced this idea of me working as a massage therapist and having clients come into our home. When these clients would respond to an ad that he'd posted, he was in control of all the communication. These clients were asking for all kinds of sexual services and erotic massage. They were told that they would be provided with all of this. I would have a client show up and I think it's just a massage, and then he thinks it's something totally different. I was not providing these sexual services because I refused. He exerted physical violence and force to get me to do what he wanted me to do. None of the money that was earned during that time and for the services that I provided, I didn't receive any of that money. It all went to my abuser, my trafficker.
I grew up in a toxic household where I was abused, I was raped, I was molested. I was an at-risk person in my early 20s. I found myself in a place of being extremely vulnerable. I started looking for work. I found an ad for models. It said models make up to $500 per day. After I responded to the ad, someone reached back out to me and they said, "You're beautiful, you're amazing, I want to meet you in person." And when I met this person, he said, "Now this is what you're going to do to make money. You're gonna go sleep with a guy." When I would go out, I would come back and he would, take half of my money. I felt like desperate to find another opportunity to get out of human trafficking.
In early 2015, the violence had gotten pretty bad. I reached out to a domestic violence legal advocate.
We worked on a safety plan for her. We talked about what does she need so that she can have control over her own life. One of the options that was appealing to her was filing for a domestic violence protection order.
During that relationship, I would try to call 911. My phone would be taken away. It was much harder to put together any kind of evidence to prove or convict him of all these crimes. So he did not serve any time for any of the abuse.
It wasn't easy getting out. You go through abuse and you have a Stockholm syndrome where you bond to the abuser and you end up going back. Or the abuser, they make it really hard for you to leave. They're gonna do everything to manipulate, deceive, set up red tape, pretty much destroy your chances of getting out. It was therapy and the reworking and healing those broken parts of my mind that allowed me to successfully navigate.
If you see that some signs that someone might be being controlled or abused in their relationship, there is help out there. You might be able to set up like a safe word with them. And so if you're on the phone with them and they can say a word that lets you know that it's a safe time to talk freely, and maybe a different word that lets you know that it's not safe to talk freely anymore.
The abuse doesn't have to define you. You are capable of redefining your future, and there is life after abuse. So don't give up and abandon yourself to the situation.
Your life is worth something, and there is life after trafficking. This is #OurStory. What's yours?